Howdy, howdy, howdy. I'd get a little sip of Dr. Pepper before we get started. You know, a little caffeine, as I'm the person that would need caffeine, right? How y'all doing, guys? Welcome, welcome, welcome to another Monday evening. I hope y'all are doing fantastic. Uh, I almost didn't get started. I couldn't find my web camera. That would have been a little interesting. We would have figured it out. We would have done something anyway, but hope y'all are doing fantastic. Guys, it's always so exciting when I get on here and I immediately see all these names already sitting out there. Guys, y'all just make me feel so special. I hope y'all feel special as well. All right, before we get going, let me just start off with, as I always do, SKD 143. I love my wife. I love my kids. I love all y'all out there. I love all the reality fans around the world. Such a fun community. So thank you for showing up and watching the show. I absolutely do appreciate it. I'm going to try to be reading the comments tonight, answer as many questions as I can, as always. For those of you, I've said before, and I'll say it again, for those of you who aren't watching live, that's okay. It means it's a little tougher to ask the questions, right? Although you can always send me comments on my DMs, and I'll try to answer those as well. But if you're not watching live, that's okay. But for those of you that are watching live, hey, ask away. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. It's always kind of interesting when we're not doing Big Brother season. I mean, we'll talk Big Brother tonight. I already saw a question out there I'm going to talk about. But it's always a little interesting when it's not officially Big Brother season. And we can talk about all kinds of different things. And y'all know me. I always got something to talk about, whether y'all want to hear it or not, right? So with that being said, let me see who all's out here, because I see all kinds of names that I recognize. Ma, oh, howdy, Ma. Dawn as well. Howdy, Dawn. I hope you've recovered, Dawn, from Claire not getting the big check at the end. I know you were cheering her on to the very end. Brian Hostetler. Brian and I are going to have a little conversation, because I found out that Brian's the one who won the Zoom call with me. Brian, we're going to have I hope you're not planning just 15 minutes, because I have a feeling it may go just a little bit longer than that. We'll talk a little bit later, get that worked out. But thank you, sir. It's so cool. Trying to raise money for Give Kids the World, and Brian was kind enough to bid on the little Zoom call I had, and thank you, my friend. That's so cool. It's going to be so fun when I go over there in December and get to see not just the reality people. I mean, for the most part, that's going to be fun to see them, but there's also a lot of families that show up as well, and people whose kids benefited from the past that show up, and that's what I'm really looking forward to also. So I'm excited about that. Elisha is here. Hey, Elisha. Cindy Hires here as well. Mark Taylor. Well, welcome to all y'all. Bright Star, Bright Iceman, Bell, Lori Lyon, Chaz. Yeah, got all kinds of friends out here. I'm so happy. Thank y'all, guys. I appreciate it. All right, let's. I always run out at the end of this thing and say, I can't believe it's already 7:55. And I had all these things I didn't get to talk about. I'm sure it'll happen again tonight, but I'm going to go ahead and start talking about a few different things while I can. Bright Star is saying the cause is wonderful. I agree. I agree. You know what? That is the most fun part of, well, yeah, I would say it's the most fun part of having been on that show. And I'm not a D-list. I'm not even an E-list celebrity. I'm way down on that list. But just the fact that I got a little bit of a platform and I occasionally could go do some things that make a difference in the world. You don't need to be on Big Brother to make a difference. So yeah, a single one of y'all can make a difference as well. But it is cool when I get to do something just to help out a little bit and see some of the benefits that come from it. So yeah, I love that cause. It's such a cool charity. All right, so let's talk about a few things going on. First of all, on this day, now I was going to talk about today is National What, but you know what today is National What Day? Today is National Sour Day. Not sour as in like pickles, sour as in, he's a sour person. I don't know why you'd celebrate that, but today's National Sour Day. Today is also National Greasy Food Days. In other words, today is National the kind of foods that Cliff likes to eat all the time days. And when I think of greasy foods, God, there's so many out there. You know, pizzas, corn dogs, everything. I do tend to like it, and I love my chicken. You know, we didn't have any chicken while we were inside that house. We had the Big Brother house. We had so much different steaks and tuna and all kinds of cuts of everything you can imagine. We had some chicken. I guess we never fried it up. They didn't trust us with hot oil and all of that. We would bake some stuff every once in a while, but I'm okay with a little KFC now and then. So go out and celebrate, have fun with National Greasy Foods Day. But rather than talk about that, which I kind of already did, well, oh well. Now, today in history, let's talk about that. Do y'all know what happened on this day in 1616? Yeah, if we're on Jeopardy, all three of them probably be chiming. Yeah, I know exactly what I have on this day. Those guys are brilliant. Isn't that amazing? But I kind of had to look it up. On this day in 1616, some random guy from the Dutch East Indies Company, and I don't remember what his name was, a Dutch sounding guy too, but he kind of stumbled upon a little bit of an island. Said, wonder what this is. Didn't realize that he discovered Australia. Yeah, on this day in 1616, Australia was discovered for the first time by Europeans. We got to be fair. I mean, there's Polynesians. I'm sure there's a whole lot of other people that knew all about Australia way before anyone over in Europe did. Which, as I say, it makes me think kind of, well, why are we celebrating just the fact that the Europeans found it? But it is what it is. I guess it's because the Europeans eventually came over and settled a lot of it. They've got their indigenous tribes over there as well, which is always kind of interesting watching Survivor Australia and some of those shows, how they incorporate that in as well. But 1616, Australia was discovered. I guess it was kind of a good day, mate. Yeah, that's the best accent you're ever going to get from me, Australia. I've never been to Australia. I've been all over the world, but I've never been to Australia. I got to talk those guys into doing some kind of a game show that I could go over and hang out a little bit. I talked to Russell Hantz, who was on Survivor. You know Russell, Survivor over here. He went over and did Survivor Australia. He didn't last that long. Just a little spoiler there. He got booted a little early. But I actually talked to him about going on that show, and he said, it was nothing compared to Survivor US. They were given all the food they wanted. It was just not really the same kind of show as Survivor over here. But I'd love to go to Australia one of these days. All right, Bright Star saying it's a fun fact. Cool. I need to touch up on my history. I'm kind of a history buff. I like a lot of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I enjoy sharing it with y'all. All right, let's talk a couple of questions while I get a chance before I just get completely lost on this. Mark Taylor, watching Brittany from Big Brother get a box with stuff in it. Did you get a box, and what was in your box? Yes, I did. Now, here's the story. I wish I'd known this. If any of you ever go on Big Brother, take it from me, because I didn't know going in that when you get booted, you pack everything out, everything that you want to take back out with you. And I thought, man, all these cool costumes and stuff that we had, the BB comics, the haunting of Caitlin Herman, all the neat little costumes that we had during the competitions. I wanted to hold on to those. And so I packed every bit of that into my suitcase was so stuffed. It was heavy. You could barely pick it up. It was stuffed to the max because I put all this extra stuff in it. Well, here's what I didn't realize. When you get booted from the Big Brother house, you don't walk out with your suitcase. You walk out with that little Big Brother bag, right? Y'all seen that. Well, right after you get outside the house, that little bag is inspected, and also the suitcase itself is inspected before it's ever delivered back to you. And I didn't realize that they went through and they took out everything that had anything to do with Big Brother, anything that had Big Brother logos on it, any of the costumes, any of that stuff. I had a sheet that had all of the recipe and the ingredients for slop. I thought, well, that'd be pretty cool to keep. Nah, they took that as well. So they took all of it. I was a little disappointed at the time, but then I found out I had some people say, oh, you'll get a box. It's got all kinds of stuff in it. So here's how it works. After I was evicted from the house, I'm sitting in sequester, and I realized there's a few clothes that I'm missing here and there. I think when I got home, I realized as well, there's a few items that I thought I'd packed up that I didn't. And so I contacted Big Brother afterwards and said, hey, that Texas A&M baseball shirt or a couple of things I was missing. If y'all see it inside the house, please send it to me. And they said, yeah, we're going to send you a box. So we'll add that into the box. And sure enough, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks later, a month later, something like that, I get a big box. I mean, it's probably 3 foot by 3 foot by 2 foot, pretty big box, right? And so I know a lot of people do it on YouTube or they film it, them opening everything out. And I guess I should have it. I was just in a hurry to see it, and I wasn't doing a whole lot of social media, anything. I didn't even have social media before I went on the show, but I opened up the box, and yeah, I had all kinds of cool stuff. So what's the main stuff that I had in there? I had my key that I got before I ever went in the house that showed I was going in the house. I had that key. I had one of the mugs that I'd had from the house that we drank coffee out of and things like that. I had a whole lot of my costumes. I had my BB comics, my haunting of Caitlin Herman, my lederhosen from the slip and slide, a few others. I can't even think what all I had, but a lot of those. And then we had a few little props, like there was on OTEV, we had to go grab those little bottles. And some of those OTEV bottles they had sent to me. But we also, and I got my BB comic. Yeah, the big 3x2 or whatever. I got my BB comic, which was incredible. We also had a cast photo. While we're in sequester, they brought by, there must have been 50 cast photos. And they just laid them out. And you had to go in and sign autograph each and every one. Lay them out until they dried, and then the BB people would gather it up. I guess they'd go to the next room. The next person would sign it. And so eventually you have all these cast photos, cast autographs. So I got one of those. I got a shirt that someone did. So just all kinds of goodies like that. It was really cool. It was a lot of fun looking through all this stuff and just bringing back a bunch of memories. So yeah, so we do get a box. I got a box as well. And I need to bring some of that, show y'all some of that stuff in future shows as well. The most important thing I got, the cool thing was that BB comic, Cliff the groundhog. You'll never see him coming, right? It was pretty cool. All right, let's see what else. All right, Cindy says, "What's your background about today?" We'll talk about that. Let me answer a couple of quick questions real quick. Alpha Cat, have you watched Squid Game yet? Yeah, I watched it. Oh my gosh, it was intense. I think we talked a little bit about last week because I binged the whole thing. We spent one weekend watching weekend before last. Yeah, it was good, but it made me feel a little, unsettled. A little, it's a little bit like the Big Brother house, right? In that it's a game that's designed to bring out the worst in people. Now, at least at Big Brother, you don't actually have to watch the demise of other people from this mortal world or anything, right? They just get booted out the door, and they're going to be just fine. But it's kind of the same situation. Only one person makes it to the end. You got to be a little ruthless to make it that far. And sometimes you have to say goodbye to people that you don't want to say goodbye to. And so, I watched Squid Game. I'm not going to watch it again. I mean, it was a little depressing, but it was really good. Don't watch it when you're in a happy mood, because if you watch it already going in a little depressed, I don't think it's going to do much to help your situation out whatsoever. So, and when you get through watching Squid Games, follow it up with Ted Lasso. You need to do that just to balance each other out, and it need to be good. All right, Brett Eisman, what's your favorite song? Man, how do you do that, Brett? I got so many. It depends on what I'm doing. Now, when I was in the Big Brother house, I had kind of my theme song that I taught y'all. Probably, if y'all are watching live feeds, you probably got tired of me talking about this song all the time. I begged them to play it in the morning to wake us up, and they never would. They didn't listen to me. But my theme song while I was in the Big Brother house was Troubadour by George Strait. And it's just because the first lines are, I still feel 25 most of the time, still raise a little cane with the guys. Honky tonks and pretty women. Lord, I'm right there with them. Singing above the crowd and the noise. It's all about living your young life, about not letting age catch up to you, and always staying young in your soul no matter what. So that was my theme song because I really felt it fit. Outside the Big Brother house, I don't know. I love so much different kind of music. I could tell you. I could tell you there's songs like Pink Floyd, The Wall. Some of those I listen to all the time. The Thompson Twins, Hold Me Now. Every time that comes on, I sing it all the time. There's musicals. The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, Jesus Christ Superstar. All of those I sing along with them. Queen. I love Queen. I have so much of the Queen music. Jessica, when she got HOH, her album that she got to listen to was the greatest hits of Queen. It's perfect. Yeah, it's so much. I wish I'd followed Queen more while they were still an active band instead of afterwards, because I didn't realize just how much great music they had. But yeah, I love all of that. And then there's just country music. But that really depends on, am I listening to country music because I want to dance with my wife, or because I want to sit over in a corner and drink some beer and play some dominoes? There's different kinds of country music based on what I'm doing. But yeah, there's a lot of different country music songs that I like. All right, I'm going to catch you to these questions. I promise you. All right, Paul Scar, happy Halloween week. Yes, indeed. Happy Halloween. I realized I was getting this put together, that I that I wasn't going to get to talk to y'all again before Halloween, which is next Sunday. Man, count up to us so quick. And you're saying, what is your favorite Halloween candy? I don't know. I told y'all last week, I really love the gobstoppers, but you don't really get that as part of a little Halloween treat, right? I may have already dipped into the candy corn and I know there's people who do not like Halloween candy corns. I like them. I'm pretty okay with Halloween candy corns. Corn. Candy corn. Yeah. I like that. But yeah, you know what my danger is? The worst for me kind of deal is the M&Ms that come in those little bitty mini packs, right? They're only probably like 7 or 8 inside each of one. I can sit there for an evening. All of a sudden, I got 20 of those things opened up, and I've had a whole bunch of little mini pack sizes, snack pack sizes of M&Ms. I love the M&Ms. Though that's probably my favorite. When I was a kid, I had braces, so there was a whole period of time where I couldn't eat any caramel or anything like that, and so I'm not as big into the sticky type foods. I like I just like the straight up pure chocolate. That's what gets me every time. So yeah, but it is Halloween. I always had fun Halloween. When I was young, man, I dressed up every year. We'd go around the neighborhood, just load up on candy. When I got a little bit older, my mom was big into March of Dimes charity. That was her big focus for a lot of time. And March of Dimes in Arlington, Texas, always had a haunted house. And so when I was, I don't know, junior high school, I started working at this haunted house. I had so much fun at this thing. I did so many different things. I remember one year I dressed up as a Jawa. Remember those little guys from the first episode of Star Wars that have the robes on. They go around with lit up eyes. I was a Jawa working in the cantina at this haunted house and coming up and kind of scaring people. Another year, we had a table filled with all kinds of disgusting foods, and one of them was a cow's heart, sheep heart, I don't remember, it was some animal heart. Well, we had a plastic bag underneath it with a tube that went under a table, and I sat underneath that table the whole time this haunted house, blow it into that tube to cause this heart to open up, but what was to expand and look like it was beating. But what was great is there'd always be some guy said, "Oh, I swear that heart just moved. I know it moved." So he'd bring over his girlfriend or something, and then I wouldn't blow into the heart. And he'd say, "I know it moved. I know it moved." And as soon as she turned her the other way, I'd blow it again. And there it is. And so I had fun with that. If people got too close to me, I would kind of reach out with my hand and grab them by the ankles and then jump back enough before they kicked at me and thought I was a rat or something else. So yeah, I always had fun working the haunted houses during Halloween. And then as I got older, I had kids, took them all out, did pumpkins every year. Halloween, one of my absolute favorite holidays. It's kind of light for the last 2 years with COVID and all of that. We just didn't have a whole lot of trick-or-treaters, but I'm hoping this year we get a few of them. All right, now, this day in history. I talked about the Australia. I forgot to mention on this day in history, in 1978, premiere of the original, the best Halloween with Donald Pleasance. Oh, such a scary. We talked a little bit last week. Such a scary movie. The first one's always the best, and that's the case for Halloween. It scared me to death. But now, there was another movie that came out in 1978 as well, which is my all-time favorite horror movie, and that's Dawn of the Dead by George Romero. If you haven't seen that, check it out. All right, let's see what else do we have on here. Cindy Hire, what is your background about today? All right, Cindy. Yeah, I saw that earlier. Thank you. I'm glad I remembered it. It started off, I thought, man, here's the thing. I binged over the weekend, or actually Thursday night. As soon as it premiered, I watched Dune, the new version of Dune. I mentioned before how excited I was to see it. I've read the book. I saw the series with David Lynch and Kyle MacLachlan back in the 80s or 90s, whenever they did that. It had Sting in it as well. I mean, it had a lot of cast of characters. Patrick Stewart from Star Trek was in it as well. So I watched that one, but I was really excited about watching the new Dune, and it was pretty good. If you haven't seen it and you have access to it, I think it's on HBO Max for the next 30 days, and then it may show up a whole lot of other places. But the cinematography, amazing. They filmed this out in the deserts of Abu Dhabi, Dubai, I don't know, somewhere over in the Middle East. A lot of it they filmed. The sets are huge. They've got just these huge spaceships. It's very impressive, the filming. The music was amazing as well. Kind of moody, and it really sets a tone well. I liked all the actors that were in it. The only thing that I didn't like was I didn't realize going in that it's not covering the whole book of Dune. And Dune is just the first book of about 7 or 8 books in this series. But I thought they'd at least cover the entire first book. No, no, no. They only went about halfway through the book and then they stopped it. So it kind of ended on a little bit of a cliffhanger. It ended up earlier than I planned. It's still 2.5 hours long. It's hard to, this is such a huge, Dune is a little bit like Game of Thrones, all kinds of political intrigue going on, people betraying each other, people trying to survive, things like that. And they just couldn't cover it all in the span of a single movie. So they cut it off early, which is okay as long as they do the second part of the book. But it's a little bit like watching that very first Star Wars movie. And just about the time Luke gets into the cantina and he reaches a deal with Han Solo, says, hey, we're going to go get on the Millennium Falcon. Let's go rescue that princess or whoever she is and all that. And as they get on the Millennium Falcon, then they can say, okay, that's the end. We'll see y'all in a couple of years for part 2 of Star Wars. That's kind of what it felt like. Just as it got excited, it's like, no, you can't stop it here. So there you go. That's my background. I thought I was going to just use a straight up Dune background, but then I saw this and thought, well, this looks kind of cool. Yeah, this reminds me of it as well. So we've got that. I'll get back to that in a second because the desert made me think about a little travel story that I'll tell you. In fact, I'll just do it right now and I'll get to a question. I saw the desert and it made me think when I used to travel in the middle, oil and gas. So I spent some time in the Middle East. I remember one of the first times I went to Dubai and I had a little downtime, a weekend before we picked back up again. And so I decided I want to go do something a little touristy. And I heard that they did things called wadi bashing. And wadi is the Arabic term for sand dunes, kind of like you see right here. And so I decided I was going to sign up and do wadi bashing, where you get in these Jeeps and you just go up and down these things. A lot of fun. And so I signed up for it. They picked me up at the hotel. They drove me out in the middle of the desert. Just, that's kind of where you do wadi bashing, right? They got us into the desert when they split us up into 4 or 5 different Jeeps. And my Jeep, it was myself and a couple of 20 somethings that were just there hiking around doing some stuff. And then a family of 3, a mom, a dad, and a kid that was maybe, 8 or 9 years old. And they put them in the back. And all I can think is, oh, now we got this kid in here. So they're not going to go nearly as hardcore as they would have otherwise. So I was a little bit disappointed at how I got picked for that Jeep. It didn't matter. These people didn't care who was in this Jeep. We went flying. We would jump over these dunes. We'd slide down the other side. It just was crazy. People, every once in a while you'd get stuck and then one of the other Jeeps would come over and pull someone out. I'm amazed we didn't roll this thing. It was just phenomenal. At one point we stop and the whole family gets out of the back seat. They go over, they all start throwing up and they're not happy at all. They are very car sick from doing this. And at that point, I thought, all right, well, I had fun, but now we're going to slow it down after that. They get back in. This guy takes off. He gives it twice as much gas and is going twice as crazy afterwards. I almost feel like they're probably all these drivers had some kind of bet on who could make the most people in their car sick. Don't know that for certain. I'm just guessing based on how they drove. But we did that for a while. They eventually stopped as the sun was going down. They took us up to the top of a dune. We got to watch the sunset in a background that just looked exactly like this. Watch the sunset. Once we got done, we all got on camels. We rode camels, not forever. 3 days later, I'm still on it now. It's like 15 minutes. We rode camels down into the valley of one of these dunes, and they had a huge Bedouin area set up, and they served us all kinds of fancy foods. I had hookahs that we smoked, the hookah pipes and all, and it was really cool. I had a blast. I had belly dancers and all kinds of stuff. I just tried to make it very, I say authentic. It was probably very touristy, but it was still incredibly fun. And so whenever I see sand dunes like this, it's kind of what I think of. So there's my little travel story. If you ever in Dubai, go do wadi bashing because it's so much fun. I had a blast with it. All right, couple of questions. Amanda Lowe. Was there ever a bathroom emergency where someone needed to go, but both bathrooms were taken? Would production help out? Well, first of all, no, production's not going to help out at all. No, they would have said, sorry, guys, you're on your own. I don't recall that ever being a situation. If it was, you better just be prepared to bang on the door a little bit and say, you better hurry up, because otherwise it's not going to be great out here. I don't remember a situation like that. Everyone tried to be respectful. I mean, no one was camped out in the bathroom or anything else. And so even when we had 16 people at the start, I don't remember it ever being an issue. Now, my issue wasn't that. I mean, every once in a while you get there and you don't want to wait to the last minute. We'll put it like that, because every once in a while you would certainly get there and think, oh my God, there's 2 or 3 people all hanging out here. But really what got me more than that wasn't people using the bathroom, but just people hanging out on that couch, waiting, or not even waiting. Sometimes just hanging out, talking with each other. It's like, really, guys, of all the places in this house, this is where everyone wants to hang out while I'm going to the bathroom. Other people are going to the bathroom. It's just kind of an awkward situation. But I don't know. Once we got the HOH rooms, which we didn't have all the time, it was only from Thursday. Well, I guess most of the time there was an HOH, but then that made it a little bit easier because people could always go upstairs, and there are a lot of people that would say, hey, I'm not going to the bathroom while all of y'all are down here talking and everything. I'm going to go upstairs and take care of business with a little more privacy in the upstairs area, which you could do. But yeah, it was. Now, production didn't help out. You just had to kind of work it out amongst ourselves. All right, Bright Star saying, does every Big Brother player get assigned a handler? I thought handlers got things for y'all. I know Claire got attached to hers. No, not really. Now, did I have a handler? A little bit, but let's talk about what that means. When I got snatched, when I discovered my key, in my case, in a fishing tackle box, and they said, you're going on Big Brother. Hey! I had a handler who drove with me to the airport, sat next to me on the airplane, stood right next to me when I was getting on, getting off, waiting for luggage, everything else. I had a handler that made sure that I didn't, hey, I'm going to be on Big Brother, or do anything like that, or try to find a phone I could call. No, we had a handler that kept track of everything, to the point that even then when I got in the car, I was taken to my spot that I was sequestered in before the show. So I had a handler in that regard. After I was evicted from the house, I got taken to a sequester spot, and I had a handler there who stayed with me. And then even on finale night, obviously we were in sequester. We got brought back onto the CBS lot for finale night. We each were assigned our own little room. We had a handler that was there with us in case anything was needed. They could get on the phone and call and all that. So yeah, I had handlers, but they weren't always the same person. The person I was with at the beginning of the season wasn't the same person that was hanging around with me afterwards. So it's not that there's just one person that you see the whole time. And while we're in sequester, if I need a little snack, hey, I really got a hankering for some Domino's pizza, I would holler at someone, but it wasn't just one person. It just had a whole little staff of people that were there taking care of us, since we couldn't go anywhere. We were stuck inside. So yeah, we had handlers, and Claire talks about how she got attracted to hers a little bit, or a tight bond. I guess you could see that, especially if it's the same person. Because here's the other thing, with COVID and all of that, it may have been changed a little bit. They may have had one person a little more focused on one house guest with one handler, just so you didn't have a whole lot of interaction with a whole lot of different people. It could be a little different than when we had, because when we had it, it was just someone to make sure that we didn't do anything we weren't supposed to be doing while we were moving from location to location, things like that. That's all there is to that. All right, Mark Taylor, what did you do with your BB comic? Oh, I hung on to it. That's probably the 2 things I think are my most treasured mementos from the show is my Big Brother key and the BB comic. And so I hung on to it. I haven't done it yet. I'm probably going to make some kind of shadow box or something with the BB comic, my key, 1 or 2 other little items. But I did that. Now, remember, there were 2 BB comics when we did the show, right? There was the you'd slide down and you'd see one that was in the window, and then you had others that that you had to pick out which one was right, which one wasn't right. So there were 2 correct, and there was 1 that was incorrect. And I think the incorrect one, I don't know what happened. Big Brother held on to that, but there were 2 correct ones. I've got one of them. The other one we auctioned off. I Give Kids the World, the charity that I'm working with. They auctioned it off on eBay, and I can't remember who it was right now, but The guy who won it reached out to me, and so I sent him a photo and a little letter and all of that. So it was kind of authenticated that it really was it and everything. So yeah, some of those, if you'll check eBay, some of them get auctioned off every once in a while as part of this fundraising. So yeah, I know where one of them is. I've got one, and I don't know where the last one is. It's CBS has it somewhere, I think. All right, Avery Bailey, what would be your ultimate 6-person alliance out of everyone that's ever played Big Brother? Man, that's a tough question, because do you pick based on people that you would have fun playing the game with? Do you pick people based on them being just extremely, incredibly strong players? I don't know. So it's tough to answer. Here's the thing. If I went back in the house and I just had to hang out with people and play the game, but also maybe pick people who I felt would do okay playing, that wouldn't betray me too much, that I could work with them and all of that. I've always talked about Vanessa Russo is one of the people that I've just always really respected her game. So I'd probably grab her, bring her on board. Donnie Thompson, I'd have fun hanging out with Donnie. So maybe Donnie would certainly be someone else. I could say Nicole Anthony, because we've worked together. We understand each other. We understand each other's strengths and weaknesses. But I'm figuring y'all are looking for new people, right? So let's go Donnie and Vanessa. I'll give y'all a little surprise. Surprise person is just because I've met her offsite. I've met her. I've talked to her before and everything. And she's kind of fun. She's a really nice person. Rockstar. Rockstar, when I watched her on the show, yeah, she had her moments where I was like, I don't know if you're playing the game great or not, Angela. But I was in Arlington when she did her boxing competition, and she's just so nice. And after I got out of the house, and here's something else y'all may not know. After I got out of the house, there's some people that reached out to me, former Big Brother players, who said, "Hey, Cliff, welcome to the family, and we're glad. Hope you had fun. If you need anything at all, please let us know." And I think that Angela was perhaps the very first person that reached out to me and sent me her phone number and said, "Hey, I'm here. If you ever have any questions." There's a few other. Tyler and Angela reached out to me as well. There's a lot of people who've reached out since then. I don't want, by just naming a few names, I feel like I'm giving short shrift to the others. There are a lot of people that reached out, but those are the ones I remember. And I kind of took that to heart. And as everyone has gotten out of the house, I've tried to do the same thing to Big Brother Canada last season, and also to Big Brother 23. I think I reached out to everyone this season. If I didn't, it was accidentally. It's just a mistake. I need to double check, but I did the same thing. Welcome to the family. We understand the way other people may not understand. If you ever need anything, just let us know. So, yeah. So I kind of wandered away from the topic, didn't I? So Angela would be one of them. Strong players. I don't know. I mean, it'd be easy to. I don't want to pick Derek or Dan because I feel like they're so strong and so cutthroat. They just pitch me off to the side, right? So I got to go with people that would be just fun to play the game. I don't know. I'm gonna have to come back to that topic, because how do you pick? There's so many that are out there that'd be so much fun. But those are a few of them. All right. Lauren said, "I saw Rockstar in the audience when she got evicted." Yes, she was fine. I mean, she didn't play. None of us played a perfect game, but she certainly made her mark on the game, right? All right, Chaz, and what do you think of the gameplay on Survivor so far? Man, this Survivor gameplay. Let's talk about people who are a little too trusting on that show. Talk to me about that. I know a thing or two about trusting the wrong people, right? Yeah, I kind of. Who am I to talk about them doing it? Because I did it in Big Brother. But there are certainly people, JD, Jeannie, who've been too trustworthy when they shouldn't be. So yeah, there's some people that I just like, oh, why do you do that? But there's other people. Chantel, Shan. Oh my gosh, she. I remember on the preseason, I said, yeah, I would probably work with her, but I don't know how much I would trust her. She was right there in the middle in terms of my predictions. She's playing the game. I love it. I think I like the fact that she knows some of the stuff she's doing can be considered villainous, and yet she's still willing to do it. She's able to differentiate between who she is as a person and what it takes to win the game of Survivor. And I like people who do that, whether it's Survivor, Big Brother, any show. What I love about her, amongst other things, is she's got this. Have y'all heard that? She hums when she's doing something evil, and that's her way of reminding herself that it's her little evil side, that she's just doing it because it's part of the game. And now Survivor producers have gotten into it because I hear the theme song kind of being played in the background doing some of her deals. So, yeah, I'm not ready to call her a villain yet, because she's not like Russell Hantz, where Russell just gave off this, forget him. I don't care what happens to him. I mean, I'm not here to take care of y'all and make your life miserable. I just whatever. She's not like that. She's so nice and friendly. But when she's got to do it, man, she'll dig that knife in and do what she needs to do. I love Chantel's play. Team Lava, Luvu, the blue team, they haven't evicted anyone yet. So how can I even really say for certain how they've played? It's easy when no one's got evicted. Look at my season of Big Brother. It was easy for Grateful Eight. It was easy for Undeniable when they weren't at risk. The first half of the season where they all felt nice and all they had to do was lay out by the pool and take it easy. As cakewalk to the very end. Yeah, wait till it gets a little tougher. Let's see who trusts who and who's loyal to who. But yeah, I've enjoyed the gameplay. I've enjoyed it. I like this cast. I like most of the twists. Now, this last twist that Liana got, where she can steal someone else's advantage or immunity idol, I almost feel like that's too much power. It's kind of like Christie's Diamond Power veto during my season of Big Brother. You can reach a point where you're so busy focusing on this big, amazing aha moment, gotcha moment for TV that you give someone too much power and really disrupt the gameplay. And I kind of feel like that's the case with that last power. But other than that, man, I'm loving Survivor. I'm having so much fun watching it. I always love Survivor, but this season I'm really enjoying it. All right, Joyce Greenstead. Fresno State won their homecoming. Well, congratulations to Fresno State. My teams did pretty well over the weekend as well. My Aggies won. They beat... heck, who'd they even play? I can't even think who they played now. South Carolina. How quickly things go out of this head. Yeah, my Aggies beat South Carolina. My Houston Astros are going to the World Series. Woo! That's going to be a lot of fun. And Fresno State won as well. So congratulations as well. Fresno State Bulldogs. I don't remember if I've ever seen them play or not. I've watched them on TV. I know Fresno State. Congratulations on your homecoming victory. Bright Star. Alice in Borderland is similar to Squid Game. It's also good. It's on Netflix. I've seen that. I haven't gotten around to watching it yet. Netflix, how depressing is it going to be someday if I look at Netflix and say, oh my gosh, I've watched everything on here. There's nothing left. I've gotten to the end of Netflix. I'm gonna have to start watching it all over again. Now, as many programs as they have on there, that's probably not going to be the case. But no, I haven't seen anything of Alice in Borderland, but I have heard about it, and I see the little preview or whatever pop up whenever I go to Netflix, or a lot of times. So obviously Netflix, whatever algorithm they use to pick new things that they think I like, based on my viewing habits, they must think that I'd enjoy it. So maybe I do need to look at that as well. It looks kind of cool. So all right, add yet another show to the list. I got to finish Ted Lasso. I'm still on. I just finished season 1. I got to finish season 2 of that first. Chris, your boy. Hey, Chris, your boy. Who do you want to see on Celebrity Big Brother? Oh my gosh, I've talked about it before. I'd love to see Johnny Manziel, Heisman Trophy winner from Texas A&M, and I just would laugh if he went on the show and he won some victory and he did the little Superman money sign like I did in the house, and someone says, Johnny, you stole that from Cliff. He probably wouldn't be happy to hear that. But no, I'd love to see him. Who else? Lance Bass would be fun to see on the show. I don't think he's going to do it because he's got he and his partner, they've got 2 brand new babies at home. I just don't see him leaving them. It'd be hard to go on that show and leave young family behind. Now the celebrity version's kind of short, so maybe it's a little easier. It was hard. I felt so sorry for Sam. My kids were grown and I knew they were taking care of my wife and vice versa. But when you got little kids, I always felt so sorry for Sam during my season. But no, Lance would be fun. Neil Patrick Harris, at this point in time, I guess he's not ever going to do it, but he'd be fun. Bobby Moynihan is a huge fan, a real fan of Big Brother, so he'd be fun. I think Rihanna's a fan as well, right? Like we're going to get her on the show. I don't know. Every year it's a couple of athletes who maybe are a little past their prime, a couple of comedians that may not quite be quite wild. Although I say that Tom Green is my absolute favorite Big Brother celebrity, bar none, of everyone who's gone on that show in the celebrity version. I was a huge fan of Tom Green before he went on the show. I'm still a huge fan of Tom Green. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see who gets on the show. Now, speaking of Celebrity Big Brother, for those of you who don't know, did you know there is a Celebrity Big Brother that is starting 1 week from today, 1 week from tonight, November 1st, on Australian TV. Big Brother, they don't call it Celebrity Big Brother, they call it Big Brother VIP. And I don't know if they're in the same house that they have over there or they're putting them in a hotel. I don't know how it works. I don't even know how I'm going to watch it just yet. I've got to do a little finagling with the computers and the TV, see if I can track down a source to watch it. But Big Brother VIP is going to be on. Caitlyn Jenner's on there. The stepbrother, Meghan Markle's going to be on there. There's someone else that we would know. And then the rest are a bunch of Australians that are probably incredibly famous in Australia. But having not been there, I can't really say I know any of them. But yeah, I'm going to try to watch that if at all possible. I'm not doing recaps on it. That'd be interesting. Have an American doing recaps. The Aussies would probably have a fit, me trying to make comments about one of their games. But yeah, if I'm going to try to watch it if I could. All right, Rich Cat Ranch. Have you ever been to the UK? I have a Scotland video scheduled to go public on my channel tomorrow. Oh, let's talk about the UK. Let's talk about Scotland in particular. Yeah, I've been over there. I'm oil and gas, right? So yes, I've been to the UK. I've been to London, but I've spent a lot more time in Scotland, specifically Aberdeen. Oh, I spent a lot of time in Aberdeen. There was a while there where I felt like that was my second home. I spent a lot of time over there. Love the place. I've done some exploring. Sometimes when I travel, it's just you're in, you're out. You don't have time for anything. But once or twice, I've had a chance to explore over there. I remember I rented a car one time. Didn't realize till I got in the car that it was a stick shift. Well, now I don't have any problem driving stick shifts, but when I'm sitting on the right-hand side, the steering wheel's on the right-hand side instead of the left-hand side. So now I'm driving my car. I'm shifting gears with my left hand and trying to stay on the right side of the road. Right side of the road? Left side of the road. I guess it'd be left side of the road. Right. Yeah, stay on the left side of the road. That made for an interesting little experience. But yeah, I drove around. I saw the castles, the ones that still look just like they did 300 years ago, and the ones that have just not a whole lot more than ruins. I did that. I stopped on a Sunday. I watched the Queen and the Queen Mother going to church. I pulled off the side of the road, parked in a little lot, and as they came by, they did their little royal wave, and I did my my American. Hey, I'm so cool. I'm glad we're not part of England anymore, but I'm still happy to see you guys. I did my waving to them as well. I feel like they waved back at me. I probably stood out among them more than anyone else in there. But I did that, went back in my car, pulled out. As soon as I pulled out on the road, their version of Secret Service stops me, comes over with this stern look on their face. I thought, oh man, I'm in trouble now. What'd I do? As soon as they heard me, I said, hey, how you doing? They said, oh, you're American. Yeah. Well, here in the UK, my friend, we always stay on the left side of the road. Well, okay. I was kind of happy, kind of excited. So I pulled out on the wrong side of the road, and they shut me down real quick, and then they said, get out of here. So yeah, I've been to Scotland a lot. My family's from Scotland. The Hogg family came over from Scotland, settled, as best we know, Hogg family settled in Virginia, 1761, something like that, sometime around there, 1760s. 3 brothers. Eventually, the brothers, one of them I've always heard, came to Texas. One of the brothers stayed in Virginia. One of the brothers moved up and settled in Tennessee. Well, I actually came from the Tennessee side of the Hogg family. My grandfather was born in Hogtown, Tennessee, which is right up on the border with Kentucky, northern Tennessee. Born in Hogtown, Tennessee, moved to Texas to I guess move in with the Texas side of the Hogg family and all of that. So anyway, yeah, that's a long story short, or short story long. But yeah, so I've got family heritage in Scotland as well, and I've been there. I love Scotland. So congratulations, and hey, send me a link. I'll watch your I'll watch a YouTube video on Scotland. That's just such a cool place to go to. You get in the car, you get out in the middle of nowhere, a little bitty old road. You're way up in the highlands, and it's just nothing but green as far as you can see in every direction. It would be easy to feel like I was, and I watch Outlander. If you don't watch Outlander, it's pretty cool. It's a great romance kind of show to watch as well. But I watch Outlander. Yeah, you can get up there in some of those areas and feel like you're still back in 1600 Scotland. I love the place. It's where I want to go back again and visit before too long. All right, let's see. Chaz, what was the biggest difference between the Game of Thrones books compared to the show? Whole lot more information in those books. Oh my, I read all the books first, I think I've said on here, before I finally caught up the TV series. George R.R. Martin is a wonderful writer, but he can take a little 1-minute scene in the Game of Thrones TV show, and he can take 100 pages describing it in that book, which sometimes there's a lot of times where I was like, oh my gosh, I get it. I understand the setting. I understand it's wet, it's dreary, whatever. I get it. He's very George R.R. Martin. If Kyland from this season of Big Brother 23 was an author, he'd be George R.R. Martin, right? Why ever say something in 10 words if you can say it in 10,000 words instead? It doesn't mean that I don't enjoy listening to Kyland sometimes. It doesn't mean that I don't absolutely love reading George R.R. Martin's books, because he drags you, he brings you into that setting so well because of his writing. But yes, he spends a lot of time getting you to that point, kind of like some people from last season of Big Brother. So that's a big difference. There's no way you could fit in as much into the TV show as you ever get with the book itself. And there's some things that change completely in the book versus the TV show versus a book, right? They just completely cut out some characters and did some things like that. It happens all the time when they adapt TV. Michelle Moore, are you going to apply to get on The Price is Right or Family Feud? All right, well, funny you should mention that, because as you can imagine, we can't say anything when we think we're potentially getting on Big Brother. My wife knew. Eventually, my kids knew, but they didn't even know until a little bit further into the process, quite a bit further in the process. But eventually, right before I thought I was going to potentially get picked and wanted to kind of get the rest of my family ready, I told the rest of my family for like Easter time, somewhere around there, maybe even a little after that. But everyone's gathered around. I mentioned to them, said, hey, just so you know, there may be a show I'm getting ready to go on. I can't really give you any details, but I got 2 nephews. One of the nephews immediately thought that I was probably going on Worst Cooks in America, which was like, thank you. That's the vote of confidence that's the show you immediately think is suited for me. Yeah, maybe I need to prove him wrong. Cook a little bit of a breakfast for him or something. But anyway, he thought I was doing that. My other nephew thought that we were all going on Family Feud. That's why I was bringing him in and prepping him and all of that. So now I haven't applied for Price is Right or Family Feud. I'd do okay on Family Feud, I think. I don't know. I think I could come up with little witty little answers and funny things. And, the show, no matter what you say, it was a good answer. Good answer. I don't think I'd do that. If it was my brothers on that show with me, I'd be turning around saying, you goofball. Why in the world would you say that? You just wasted our chance. I'm not good. I love my family. They know it was done in the spirit of love, but we'd be giving each other a hard time on that show. Price is Right. I don't know. That'd drive me crazy, because I always think I'm so good at that. I mean, I go shopping and everything with my wife. I know what things cost, but I'm not sure what things cost in California, because I just feel like there's a big disparity in prices, Texas versus California, because I'm never any good when I watch that show. I haven't watched it in a while, but hey, put me on. I'll go to the big showcase. I guarantee I'll spin that wheel and make it go around a few times, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think Family Feud would be fun. I got a pretty entertaining family. I think we'd have some fun doing that. Don't know if we'd win, but we'd have fun playing the game. All right, Chaz is asking, was there anything in the Big Brother house you were disappointed you didn't get to do? Well, I didn't win. I mean, that was the ultimate goal in there. And you know what? I didn't go in saying I'm going to win, because I knew the odds, especially being the old guy. I knew the odds were going to be tough to make it, and I am proud of how far I got. But you do reach a point where you're right there towards the end where you think, this is right here. This could be a $500,000 deal. I think I've said before on here, but it's worth saying again. At one point, I was in the shower when there were 4 or 5 of us left, and there was a recorded, a Big Brother's voice came over the loudspeakers and said, house guest, just so you know, one of you in just a few weeks is going to win $500,000. Yeah, I knew it, but just let's ramp up the pressure just a little bit more. Big Brother's so good about putting the pressure on you with some of the games they do and all that. So yeah, the big ultimate answer is I didn't win. But are there other things that I didn't get to do in there that I was a little disappointed in? I competed in almost every single competition. I think I counted it once, and I did like 26 competitions. It helps when you're on the block 6 times while you're in the house, but between that and getting picked to play because someone wanted me to play or just random draw, it just seems like I competed in every HOH except one, and I won one HOH, so I couldn't do the following week. But I competed in every HOH. There are only 2 veto competitions that I didn't compete in. Isn't that amazing? I didn't compete in the Froggy style, which was the second week, and I didn't compete in the space launch, or where you launch the rockets and you won prizes and stuff. Kind of would have liked to play in that one. I was disappointed I didn't get to play in that. I had talked to Jessica, just a little inside scoop. Jessica was HOH, and I had talked to her, said, if you get house guest choice, I'd love to play the game. I'd love to get in there and do what I can to make sure that we send Jack out the door, because that was her goal. That was my goal. That was Nicole's goal. And so I really wanted to play that, but sure enough, Jessica got house guest choice. Instead of picking me, she picked Kat. And at the time, she told me, it's because your legs hurt. We don't know what kind of competition it is. I just heard it the week before. I was still limping around. She said, if it's some kind of athletic deal, you can't compete on it. And so I got it. I knew she was right. But then I found out how tight she and Kat truly were, and it made even more sense. But no, you know what I miss that I didn't get to do in the house for whatever reason? One is family videos. I don't know. They didn't show family videos while I was in there, which kind of disappointed me. The other thing, we didn't get Outback Steakhouse. I thought we'd have one of those competitions where at least some of us would get to go in the backyard and have fancy steaks from Outback and go up to the HOH room and watch some movie premiere or something. We didn't get any of that. Well, I didn't get a concert in the backyard of some star that I could have always said, I got to watch them. We didn't get to get in the car and fly over and watch the Cowboys play in a football game. We didn't get to do any of that stuff that some of the other seasons got to do. Whatever. It would have been fun, but that's all right. How can I complain? I got to do so much in the house. So yeah, there's a few things I missed, but I'm all right with that. All right, Chris Laird, have you met any BB23 house guests yet? No, not in person. If any of them came to Houston, they didn't let me know. I'd have a little word with them. No, I haven't met them. I've talked to a lot of them, just by a few of them when they've done some Instagram stories. I've gone out to their stories and talked to them. I think Derek Frazier and Christian have both done some. Ozza was out on one as well. I talked to her for just a second. And a lot of them I've sent, as I said before, I sent all of them welcome to the BB family, and some of them we talked a little bit more than that. But I'm looking forward to meeting them in December. I just got through talking to Brittany this week, in fact, or I guess it's last week now. Talked to Brittany and said, I'm really excited. Are you coming to Hearts of Reality in December? And she said she's coming. Frenchie had already talked to. He's coming in December. I'm looking forward to seeing both of them. I think I've talked to all of them, and I follow all of them. I think a few of them follow me as well. And so that's going to be my chance to see them for the first time, and not just see them, but it's just going to be fun to kind of pull off to the side and just talk about Big Brother stuff. Hey, Derek, what'd you think about that competition? Did you think you had a chance? Because I know I didn't have a chance when I did. Yeah, just little conversations like that. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, Lawrence Santiago, put some recipe videos on your channel. Well, my sister-in-law hit the dollar twice on Price is Right and won the showcase. Wow, Lawrence, that's pretty cool. I'm suitably impressed. Wow. That takes some doing to hit that dollar both times and to win the whole deal. That would have been fun to watch. That'd be cool. Put some recipes on my channel. Yeah, I need to do that. That'd be kind of fun. I don't know. I gotta get permission from my wife first. She may want to make sure that I'm not doing anything too crazy in the kitchen before I just start going in there filming a lot of stuff. I cook, but she's such a great cook that it's not like I'm in there every night cooking. My stuff is omelets in the morning and rice and beans in the evening, things like that. My cooking's somewhat basic. Every once in a while, I'll try to go in and cook something a little exotic just for fun, and that's what I ought to film. So, all right, good point. I'll add it to the list. Good meals or bad meals. I probably could have fun doing both of them, and it'd probably be about 50-50 on both of them as well. Very first time my wife and I ever met, she came out to visit. I cooked seafood spaghetti for her. Seemed like a good idea. Was it seafood spaghetti or just spaghetti? I don't remember. All I know is it called for 3 cloves of garlic. I didn't realize a clove was a little bitty part of the garlic. I thought that meant 3 of those little white things that are about this big, size of a tennis ball or something. And so I put an entire one of those and said, there's no way you can put 3 of these in here. So I just put one of those, not realizing they just meant 3 of those little pieces about the size of a thumbnail. Yeah, we actually went to an Italian restaurant that night instead of eating at home. So, yeah, sometimes I don't do quite so well in the kitchen. But I'm always up to learn, right? So, and she married me anyway. She just knew that I wasn't going to be the cook in the family. There's some things I cook well. I'm great at breakfast. Cereal, pancakes, omelets. I can cook a mean omelet. But, yeah, some things I leave to the experts just because. All right, with all that being said, man, guys, I think we've made it through a whole lot. Which BB23 house guest would you want to get with you here on your weekly chat the most? Lawrence is asking. I don't know. That's a good question, Lawrence. I had to think about trying to bring some. They do so many interviews with so many people. I've kind of always thought, man, I don't want to get in line. They ask the same questions that everyone else has already asked them 100 times. So I didn't want to join the mad rush to get him on the show, but now that it's kind of tailed off, it'd be fun to get him on. I'll ask him questions that no one else will ask. I'm not mean or anything. Y'all know me. I'm not gonna be mean, but just some of the fun questions about things that no one thinks to ask them. I don't know. Who would y'all want me to get on? There's somebody. Tiffany, I'd love to get on, just talk about her gameplay a little bit. Frenchie, just to ask him a little bit, what were you thinking week 1? How did things go versus what you. Every single one of them, would be kind of fun to get on the show. But yeah, I don't know. I got to think about that a little bit. All right, I got to shut it down. It's 8:00, so I'm gonna shut it down. My Astros are playing in the World Series starting tomorrow. I know there's a whole lot of people that aren't Astros fans, but I'm an Astros fan, so it's going to be exciting. So I'll just not finish it off with that because I got to finish off with an SKD 143. Love my wife, love my kids, love all of y'all out there. I hope y'all have a fantastic week the last week of October, and we're into November, and then it seems like that means wintertime, right? So y'all enjoy your last week. Enjoy Halloween. Stay safe. Don't eat too much candy. Share it with the kids as much as possible. But stay safe. Watch out for cars and all of that, and have fun. This is Halloween. I love Halloween. I don't know what we'll do this weekend or this Halloween. I'll talk to you about it on Monday. So, guys, y'all have a fantastic one. Till then, cheers, my friend. Survivor on Wednesday night. Once it's on, I'll recap the episode. I'll drop that episode either Wednesday night or Thursday. So, y'all check that out. If you're not watching live, send me some questions. I'll try to cover them for next week's show because I want to get y'all's thoughts as well. So, guys, y'all have a great one. SKD 143. Cheers, my friends. Bye.